Scarlett Johansson, yes, the star of that absolute bomb Black Widow, which is on track to lose money the first time in Marvel Cinematic history. Oh, she's suing Disney. She's suing Disney. Very interesting, okay? On one hand, you have a woman who's complained about the fact that she's getting old and she can't be as sexy as she once was. She says that she's glad that she's not having to portray somebody who's been so overly sexualized throughout the years. It's kind of funny coming from the lips of somebody who's 35, 36 years old at this point and has pumped out a couple of kids. And then on the other hand, you have the Disney Corporation, which if anybody simps for them at this point, they should probably just get against the wall because there's nothing redeemable there, okay? Nothing they're putting out in, I don't know, the scheduled future, even the forecasted future, looks like it's worth you supporting it at all, whatsoever. So in all honesty, I hope everybody involved in this just fucking loses money because Johansson, I don't know, she made her money off of her tits. Pretty much. Great set of tits, a great ass, and a sexy face. Now she's getting older. She thought the Black Widow was going to be her final payday, and that didn't happen, okay? She didn't get all of her bonuses. She didn't hit all the goals for various different reasons that some of them might have been out of her control for. But now she's trying to get hers. I don't really care who comes out on top of this. I just want to get to the facts. Scarlett Johansson is suing the Walt Disney Corporation for releasing Black Widow simultaneously on Disney Plus and in theaters. Oh, okay, I get it. So it was breaking pandemic records the first weekend. Oh, and then it broke another pandemic record by having one of the biggest drop-offs week over week in history, but need not talk about that. Maybe that's the basis for this lawsuit. The actress, who filed a lawsuit on Thursday in Los Angeles Superior Court, oh, she's going right to the top, claims there was a breach of an agreement with Disney's Marvel Entertainment that guaranteed an exclusive theatrical release for her Marvel character Black Widow's first and more than likely only solo film, according to a copy obtained by the Washington Examiner. It's just very interesting timing on this one because, okay, it's very disadvantageous for her to be suing Disney right now because this was going to be her last big grasp at the money bag, okay? A character she's been portraying, a character that's been beloved for about a decade at this point, getting its big send-off. They've handed over the mantle of Black Widow to a new woman to, I don't know, not be charismatic and not really do anything, but still be super and amazing and fucking beat the shit out of 250-pound men. And yeah, maybe was she set up to fill the roles of the motherly, matronly roles that Angelina Jolie was cast for? Because yeah, you remember that little stretch of time when Angelina Jolie, who I never really found overly attractive, was cast as this ass-kicking action star, and then all of a sudden started to be, I don't know, like Maleficent, and now she's one of the Eternals. So there's a lucrative future out there. That's for somebody who at least has a pedigree. I think she's been nominated for Oscars. It's been decades at this point since Johansson even sniffed an award nomination. So yeah, she could have filled that role, but now you're suing Disney. That owns the MCU, it owns Lucasfilm and Star Wars and all of their goofy little properties and Indiana Jones, whatever they're going to do to bastardize that franchise. She won't be a part of the Howard the Duck remake. She's burning a hell of a lot of bridges in this one. But let's continue. Disney wanted to substantially devalue Miss Johansson's agreement and thereby enrich itself, says the lawsuit, alluding to how bringing the movie to its streaming service upon release is good for attracting subscribers, but hurts the deal that is based on the film's box office performance. Interesting. That was a good move for consumers, okay? At least if you were one of those weirdos out there who were too scared to go to the theaters, but you still wanted to see something that was almost guaranteed to be woke trash. That's a small market. That's a small audience, okay? And we've seen, based on the numbers that are available, the tracking numbers that are out there, oh yeah, it made $60 million at home out of the 104 million people that are subscribed to Disney Plus. 2 million people in the first 2 weeks actually purchased a copy of that. So it's a very small group of people who are going to pay the premium of, I think I've heard it say $30 a pop on Disney Plus. instead of going out to the theater. So I don't know, translate those, let's just say, yeah, 2 million people, you get around some people to watch the movie. It's not just 2 million individual people, maybe eyeballs included, you're looking at what, 5 million people? Okay, extrapolate that out. How much more money does that tack on to the box office score? Like, it's inconsequential. And another thing that's a little bit vague about this lawsuit is, okay, was there negotiations? Was there a handshake deal in order to figure out, okay, yeah, we're going to drop this on the streaming service at the same time that we take it to the box office? And yeah, okay, your incentives and your performance bonuses were tied to box office score, but we're also going to be segmenting off a little bit of the box office revenue by putting it on our streaming service. So based on overall performance, that's how we're going to gauge some of your bonuses, and maybe we'll reduce some of the thresholds. So when you hit bonus, you can collect on it. And there's some things that could have been done because, in case you guys didn't know, Black Widow, the movie, has been made and has just been sitting around for a couple of years at this point. This movie was already expensive to make. It went through several advertisement cycles, and of its production budget of $200 million, due to the amount of time it's just been sitting there and reshoots and all the additional stuff that it takes in order to put another movie back out there, you're looking at like a $500 million budget, and this movie's going to make about 380, maybe 400. It's going to lose money, okay? It might make it back up with Blu-ray, and you can shuffle some of the profits from the streaming service over to cover it up, but at the end of the day, apples to apples comparison, this one's losing cash. There's no two ways about it. But there are more details out there because, remember, this lawsuit was just filed today, so we don't have a rebuttal from Disney. We don't know what their side of the story is on this one. And like I said, I don't care who wins this one. I just want to know what the deals actually were, because there could potentially be some precedent set with this, okay? Because if there was a deal that was happening based on the simultaneous release of at-home streaming and some theater releases, and taking a look at the different mandates that are dropping right now, that looks like it's going to be the future for as long as Democrats are in charge, but need not be political. But everything's political, right? Well, let's see. It's no secret that Disney is releasing films like Black Widow directly onto Disney Plus to increase subscribers and thereby boost the company's stock price, and that it's hiding behind COVID-19 as a pretext to do so. Yeah, but they also, for the first time ever, officially released the numbers for Black Widow about how much money it made during its first week at the box office. Because remember, it made $60 million. Cool. And on top of the $80 million at the cinema. Why did they do that now? Maybe they knew this lawsuit was coming, something like that. Lawsuit against Disney comes as other entertainment companies are moving towards streaming new content on designated all-access platforms at the expense of traditional film. The trend, which accelerated during the coronavirus pandemic, has also frustrated many private theater companies, which have all been bailed out by the government. So, what do they want, to just get shut down harder so they can get more free money? Interesting. Earlier this month, the National Association of Theater Owners criticized Disney's decision to make Black Widow available in theaters and through Disney Plus on the same day. The film earned $80 million domestically during the box office debut weekend and fell a sharp 67% during its second weekend, marking the worst second weekend performance of any Marvel Cinematic Universe film. It continues to go on to describe a couple other scenarios, but at the end of the day, okay, I know it's been a minute since we talked about this movie, but yeah, the reviews are out, and outside of just the access media just continuing to want their access, so they'll just write their loving screeds on their pieces of paper and turn them into papers that'll, I don't know, never be read by anybody, but they'll be a published author, so cool, good for you. It's a fucking hunk of shit movie, okay? And people were excited. There was the novelty of going back to the cinema, you know what, seeing a big blockbuster, something that's brand new, okay? Just don't mind the fact that this one's been in the can for a minute, and it's about a character who's already chronologically dead in the timeline, and that there's no real stakes because you know where everything's going, and because of the state of modern Hollywood, you already knew it was going to be fucking trash. So outside of the novelty of the first week, yeah, go out and see maybe all the reviews from the people who have seen it who aren't on the take. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe this is going to be a good movie, and then their friends went out and was like, wow, that was hot garbage. That didn't make any fucking sense. Don't bother going to see it. Maybe wait a couple of months until it's free on Disney Plus, which I hear it's right around Halloween or something, beginning or end of October. It doesn't really matter. I'm never going to see it. I don't really care. It's just, if Disney would have made a good movie, this movie would have made a lot of money, okay? Because this is far enough distanced from all of the magic that Endgame would have brought. The Avengers Endgame, the bow on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and realistically, based on all the shit that they pumped out since then, they probably should have just ended it there. But no. That cow is still standing, so it still has milk to gain. So get over there and just fucking keep pumping away until there's dust that comes out of that sack. All of this could have been avoided, and maybe we'll get some more information out there. But all of this could have been avoided. Black Widow was a good movie. People would still be going to see it. It wouldn't be shortchanged and shortlisted and expedited onto Blu-ray and home release. But I guess we'll find out in a rebuttal that should be coming in the next couple of days. Was there an agreement to be made based on streaming purchases at home on Disney Plus? Was there some kind of an incentive if there was an increase in subscribers based on the release of Black Widow? Was there any changes to the theatrical release incentives that were out there, any way, shape, or form? Because they're all basing this on theoretical expectations for the movie. They anticipated that this was going to make between $600 and like $750 million. But then again, what are they basing that on? That is old coof logic. That shit is fucking long gone, okay? This is the narrative that Hollywood wants to push. This is the narrative that they're all about at this point. We're never returning back to normal. There's going to be a new normal. Okay, but you want to base all of these numbers off of the old normal just because you stand to benefit off of it? You can't have it both ways, okay? Just because pre-pandemic, yeah, if you would have released this movie in between Infinity War and Endgame instead of stupid Captain Marvel, this movie would have made $1 billion, okay? Even as shit as it is. Because the movie that was sandwiched in between them was still pure distillate shit. But now we're seeing, yeah, you can throw in the streaming service a little bit, maybe. But in comparison with other films that are out there right now, like there's not a lot to look forward to, but there's also not a lot of comparisons to be drawn as to what the performance of the box office is going to be at this point. All of it's just forecasts. All of it's prognostication. Some people think the box office numbers and that full theater capacities aren't going to return until 2024. Don't know. They keep locking everything down. It could be fucking 2030. It could be that theaters are just a relic of the past, like old fucking silent movies or drive-ins, like drive-in restaurants. That's what I mean. Where they come and drop the tray on your window, and they can't do that anymore because the windows are made out of absolute shit. But you get what I mean. There's no comparisons to be drawn here. So trying to do that seems a little bit flimsy. So I'll be waiting for Disney's response on this one, because if I was to bet on this one, I really don't know. I think that Disney probably is going to have better lawyers, but if they didn't have any agreement in place and everything was supposed to be based on the fact that there was supposed to be one release, just the theaters, Disney reneged on that, that's a breach of contract. And Johansson could be making what she's claiming up to $50 million off of this one. That sounds like the big ask. What could end up happening as well is there's just a settlement and somebody gets an exchange of aggressive 7 digits, low 8 digits, and we fucking move on from this debacle. But it's interesting, and there could be precedent set here, but we gotta wait and see how this one plays out. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.